It's a true British turf war fight, if you will. Our two guests at this time are perhaps the most beloved figures in Nottingham. One born in Nottingham, another from Wales, but now has become an adopted son. He is the manager, the gaffer, as they call him, for our beloved Nottingham Forest. And what a great honor it is to have both the WBA featherweight champion Leigh Wood and the one and only Mr. Steve Cooper on the program. Is it true? Wow. I do not believe this. I do not believe my eyes. This is unbelievable. Leigh, thank you so much for the time. I love your kit. Mr. Cooper, this is a huge honor. I'm actually a little bit starstruck at the moment. I'm a massive fan of yours. Thank you so much for the time.
It's a pleasure to be on, yeah. And obviously become really friendly with Leigh over the last couple of years. So supporting him as best we can.
This is lovely. Leigh, how are you? All good?
All good, mate. Thank you, yeah. Nearly there. The worst stage for me, just not eating a lot and taking down the days till I can refuel and go to work.
So the last time you were in action, Leigh, the week before, Nottingham Forest beat Arsenal to remain in the Premier League. We're coming off a hard-fought, well-earned draw at home. The deck was stacked against us, and I could say us, right? Am I allowed to say us, Steve? Is that okay? Am I allowed to say that?
Listen, the more we can get in our family, the better. So no problem with that.
Okay, so we have set the table for a big performance out of you, Leigh. Could you tell the people at home, why does this fight mean so much to you? You versus Warrington, like I said, a classic British turf war, if you will. Why does it mean so much?
It means so much because there's a lot on the line. Obviously, we both come up from a similar path. We're both domestic fires. We haven't won anything as an amateur. There was no Olympic medal, so we've worked from the ground up to get where we are, going the traditional route, especially myself, British, Commonwealth, European, world title. So we've done it the hard way. Two cities, an hour and 10, 15 minutes apart, and we've both become two-time world champions. So there's a lot on the line, especially for me. I wanted this fight for probably 5 or 6 years when Josh was flying high and I couldn't even get a fight of any description, and I wanted this opportunity so bad. So for me, this is everything. And to get this win over the line, it also brings the Nottingham v Leeds clubs together vocally, the cities, and obviously me and Josh.
Steve, how did your relationship, your friendship, dare I say, with Leigh come about?
Well, as you probably know, Nottingham is a very together city. As is Leeds, but obviously we're based in Nottingham, and the club particularly is a real focal point for the city and massive fan base. And what we've tried to do as a football club over the last couple of years is try and connect with the supporters as much as we can. And while doing that, you obviously come across some famous faces and some people who've done really well out of the city, and they don't get any bigger and better than Leigh and his journey and what he's achieved. So we were lucky enough to meet him at the training ground, and feel like we've really connected a good friendship, and sort of speak in a real sort of elite way about his journey and our journey at the club, and it's built from there really. And we've spent some time together. We spent some time on video calls, and we've been really supporting each other. And obviously this is his time this week. And he knows the supporters are behind him at the football club, but also the people within the football club are really behind him as well. And it's a real honour to know him. I love talking to him about his plans and what he has to go through to get ready for fights. There's some stuff we can compare to about motivation and goal setting and all that sort of work. And he's a real winner, and that's what we're trying to do at the football club is to ultimately win while doing it a certain way. And what better than to share with one of our own, which is what Leigh is in Nottingham. And just as he alluded to then in the intro, he's a really good guy, really down to earth, really humble. You'd never think he's achieved what he's achieved. And really that's what we want the football club to be as well, is one built on humility and hard work and can produce some good performances. So I'm proud to know him, and obviously we've got his back this week.
Leigh, what is it like for you to hear the manager of your childhood team, your favorite club, speak of you like this, to not only have a relationship with Steve Cooper, but to hear how much he means, you mean to him and also to the club itself? This has to be surreal stuff, no?
Yeah, Steve's a great guy. There's loads of things he does what people don't know about, and also I'm not going to share with him, but like he helped me out a lot when I got beat. Invited me down to the training ground, open invite. I could go down whenever I want. He got good words of wisdom. One that I always live by as well when I'm training and doing things is control the controllables. He loves to say that, and he's absolutely right. You don't need to worry about things out of control. Worry about what you can control, and that's a great bit of advice, especially in sport. But yeah, he's helped out and helped a lot of people that what other people don't see, what other people behind the scenes, you could say. Yeah, and is an absolute hero in Nottingham. Of course, what he's done of late took us back to the heights, to the Premier League, and regardless of what happens, he'll be remembered in the city.
Steve, after Leigh's loss to Lara, and then before the last fight in May, Matchroom posted a great video message from you to him. And, what was so striking to me, I mean, I have to tell you, I'm obsessed with the club now. My sons and I, we watch every single match from beginning to end, and here we are living in the States, and I can't help but consume every bit of Nottingham Forest content, from the website to the podcast to the YouTube channel, everything. People like to slag me off, as they say, but I am a true proper fan, and I could talk to you about everything regarding the club. And I love watching your content. And you posted a video or via Matchroom sending him a message. And most people in your position would send like a 30-second, like, hey, we got your back and good luck tonight and all that stuff. Yours was about 90 seconds, and it felt like a proper, message from you to him that the world wasn't supposed to see. And you talked about conversations that you guys had privately after the loss and how he helped you as you were having some tough losses and trying to stay up. Could you tell me about some of those conversations? I know a lot of them were private, but just about how you guys helped each other in perhaps a difficult time.
Yeah, and to be fair, most of my stuff is very private, and like things like this I wouldn't normally do, but definitely for someone like Leigh and yourself, of course.
Thank you.
And a new global Forest fan. But yeah, I think it was only mutual, the message, and maybe that was a video that was public, but it was just one of many conversations that we've had. But what I would tell you, like I said, it was mutual, and we went through ups and downs last season, as you will be aware, and he was equally as supportive of myself and us in them times as well. We had a couple of spells last year where we didn't win a football match for a while, and that's not easy, especially when you feel the responsibility that you do of doing the best you can in the city and not letting people down. So it was just a matter that one was out in the open, but it was only mutual. I think I remember really clearly after Leigh lost that we saw him a couple of days later. We had a bit of a staff get together, and I was like, "Come on, get yourself down here," and he did. And I remember chatting to him straight away, and he was just so focused on bouncing back. And I'm a huge believer in how you respond from setbacks is what defines you. Huge believer. None of us want setbacks, and none of us want defeats or difficult moments. But in elite sport, unfortunately, they're only around the corner. And it's how you deal with that and respond, I think, is the making of you. And to see him from that difficult loss, which I know he felt with it being in the city and things like that, but to see how he instantly sort of got his head down and motivated to, and I knew he would win a couple of days after because I could just see it. I could just feel it. And, he disappeared again in camp and did his work. And then, we all watched the fight. We were actually in the team hotel at Crystal Palace the night before a game. A lot of us sitting around the screen, a lot of players, Joe Worrell, the captain, and who I know Leigh's friendly with as well. And it was just a brilliant little journey or chapter of his journey to see how he was so focused on sort of redemption, if you like, and getting the job done.
Crazy
to be part of.
Crazy that as fate would have it, you're playing Crystal Palace again this weekend, right? Isn't it amazing? That is unbelievable. Time is a circle. Leigh, could you tell us how you were feeling going into that rematch? A lot of people thought too soon, you need to get your mojo back against someone else and then fight Lara. You went right back into the fire, and it was a brilliant game plan from you and your head coach, Ben Davison. How were you feeling, though, leading up to the fight? Were there nerves? Were you starting to doubt yourself at any point?
No, not at all. I felt like the more I went onto social media and the more I seen, I had to just totally come off, like not absorb anything, because there's some of the things people were saying. It was quite. I was in disbelief because I was so headstrong. But I'm not really one of them characters. I'm not a sponge. I don't absorb what people say. Like I listen to people that I trust, like my coaches and people like Cooper, and like I'll listen to them absorb that. But like anyone else, it can literally go in my one ear and out there. I'll read it and it won't get absorbed. Some of the things that was being said, like, oh, he's going to get knocked out quicker and he shouldn't, he's going to get hurt, and like all these kind of messages. But I was so strong, thinking I was winning the fight clearly. And the only reason I got caught was because I got a little bit greedy. I was in my own city, packed to the rafters. You know, not only was I winning this fight and dominating, I wanted to get the ice on the cake and I wanted to get the knockout. And in doing so, I kept my feet there a little bit too long and I got caught. And it's boxing and it happens. It's fine margins. I actually had 3 camps for Mauricio Lara, because the first camp I did 90% of it and got injured. That was kicking the teeth. The second fight, obviously, I got beat. And then there was the third camp. And the way we prepare is so meticulous and in great detail. I knew him better than he knew himself. And that's why I cruised to victory in the rematch, because I literally knew everything he was going to do before he did it. I knew when he was going to bounce on the spot, try and run out of ideas and start slipping left and right. I knew when to stab him downstairs. I knew when to knock him off balance. And yeah, and that's pretty much down to my team as well, which gave me that confidence going into that fight.
I know that there are some managers, coaches, Steve, that use the fight game as motivation for the players before a big game, whether it's NFL coaches, NBA coaches, Premier League coaches, et cetera, managers. Have you ever done that with Leigh's career about, getting hit, falling on the mat and, bouncing back up, or any other famous, I don't know how deep your fighting knowledge is, but there's a lot of similarities, right, between the two worlds.
Yeah, definitely. I think Leigh's a bit of a constant at the club, and so it's something that we can recognise on a regular basis. But definitely about sort of having your motivation and know why you want to achieve in a game. And a lot of our stuff on match day is around motivation. You've done a lot of your sort of game plan work and your tactical work, and then it's about delivering when it counts for the players, and that's on a match day. And I guess that's where Leigh is now, getting ready for the weekend. Just going back on what Leigh said there, one thing that really sort of impressed and intrigued me when we first met Leigh, when he came to the training ground, is how interested he was in the behind the scenes stuff. Like, he spent a lot of time with the analysts, and you could see that he was really interested in how our analysts operated and the process behind how we deliver meetings and data to the players. And I can see then that he was a real top performer, because I think the real top performers want to take every inch out of any sort of learning that they can come their way. He didn't just want to come in and watch a training or do the obvious bits and stand on the sideline and see training. Yes, of course he did that, and we love it when he does that. But he spent more time. I remember him being there all day at the training ground.
Wow.
And I just thought, yeah, this guy knows what he wants, and that's where we built a lot of respect. Well, I had a lot of respect for him anyway, because of what he's done and what he's doing, like I do any sort of top athlete. But to get to know one in a different sport, I'm no boxing expert. I've big respect for the profession and what they do. I think it's amazing, and getting to know a little bit more about what Leigh does, then anybody that does well at boxing, then hats off. So, but with Leigh, I could see how interested he was in the process behind the performance, and you can see that he does that with his own work as well.
How close was this fight, Leigh, to happening at the world famous City Ground? That's what we were told. Unfortunately, it's not. How close was it?
Yeah, it was fairly close. The conversation took place, just down to the pitch and the timing. The situation with defending against Josh, and for that I didn't have the time to wait, and it just didn't line up. It was no fault down to the club, no fault down to anyone else, other than just didn't line up the timing. But when I won the world title, I thought, right, I won this world title. I can probably defend this at the world famous City Ground, and then didn't happen. And then obviously I went to Nottingham Arena, fought Conlan, and obviously beat him in great fashion. I thought, right, this is massive, a massive win now. Surely we're at the City Ground. But then the next fight, Lara, it's a massive fight, and he knocked out Warrington, the only person to beat him. It's a huge fight. The time of year didn't line up. The rematch again didn't line up. Then after that, I thought, right, this has got to line up now. The time of year, everything's going to be perfect. And then, we had the new pitch done. It just wasn't ready in time. The players actually didn't even have a friendly on that pitch for the start of the season. And I picked Warrington because I thought that would line up perfectly for that. And then as the ball got rolling and the fight, things was getting agreed, and we couldn't do it there. I thought we were so deep into negotiations and sorting that fight out, and let's just go for that fight. That's a massive mouth-watering fight, and probably the biggest fight in my division in Britain, in the world, from a ticket point of view, from a fan's perspective. So, this time out, I said to Eddie, look, I'm going to fight Warrington, but I'm not going to fight him or anyone else unless the contract for this fight states my next fight, if I fight again, is at the world famous City Ground.
Oh, wow.
And we've got that clause in there. So what I need to do is go out and win. And then I'll have a little break. So I've had 3 fights on the spin this year. It's at world level, not many fighters do that at my weight. So gonna go out on Saturday night. I'm going to impress. I'm going to be dominant. I'm going to win. And then I'll have a few months break. But I'll still take over and train. I'll probably go see Coops for a little bit and do a little bit with them. And then, hopefully we'll get the City Ground fight in May.
Leigh, could I ask you, one of the things that has captivated my imagination about this club is the love and respect that the supporters have for this man, Steve Cooper. I mean, the chants, like I said, the way you acknowledge them, Steve, after the matches, it's also wholesome and fresh. And when we have in like sports these days where there's such a contentious relationship at times between fans and the coaches, that couldn't be further from the truth in this particular case. You would think that Steve is from Nottingham, the way they speak about him and love him and support him, even when people are trying in the outside world, trying to criticize the club. Like in this day of social media, it's amazing. It's like 99.999% positive towards him. Why does Nottingham love this man so much?
It's hard not to like him, isn't it?
This quick, but answer this quick, will you?
No, you don't like this kind of stuff, does it? But honestly, it's hard not to like him. The results he's been getting hard. Like I said earlier, he's took us back to the Premier League after 20 odd years of hockey. But Nottingham is a city where if we're not doing very well, the fans just don't disappear. It's one of them cities where we still get behind and we still rock up week in, week out. And you imagine we were rocking up week in, week out for 20 odd years to the stadium in the hope of going back up to the Premier League. And along comes Cooper when was right at the bottom of the league in the Championship, and he turned us around and took us up straight away and did it the hardest way possible in the playoffs. And I think he's got a lifetime set of fans from everyone in Nottingham, especially myself.
Is there something to be learned here, Steve, about the way in which people in the public eye, your position, treat others? Because you could see the way you treat the fans, the way you treat the players, the way you treat the media. I feel like there's a lesson here, no? I know you don't feel comfortable with this type of accolades, but it's true. It really does come across. The
biggest thing we've done over the 2 years is be together. It's not about any player, any member of staff. It's about real togetherness, whether that's the players on the pitch connected to the staff, all that connected to the supporters, and vice versa. We're all about the collective. We're all about the togetherness. And I got asked last week, because I did 2 years at the club, is what's the biggest feeling? The biggest feeling for me is being at the club is gratitude. Just really grateful to be part of what is an amazing institution of football and an amazing city. All of the good days that we've had over the 2 years, I've witnessed them as well, and so has my family, and we're really grateful for that. So, the best thing about Nottingham is the culture of the people and the togetherness, and particularly when times are tough. And Leigh's had some brilliant times. 1 or 2 setbacks, City's got behind him. Football club, as Leigh alluded to, for sure. And that is what makes the city and the football club, what it is, unique, and it's just a real honour to be part of it. But I stress again, everything positive that's happened over the last couple of years has been built on togetherness and real team spirit of all the people involved, especially the supporters.
That is a beautiful response, and I'll let you guys go in a moment. Thank you again for this. I really appreciate it. I know this is a silly question, Leigh, but just want to confirm, are we coming out with the Forest gear, the music, all that stuff like you did back in May? Is that set?
Yeah, I feel like that's just part of my identity now. The rematch against Lara was in Manchester, and if you don't know geography wise, like around me, it's quite a distance from Nottingham. It's probably 2 hours.
Yeah.
And I thought, and I thought, I thought, shall I scrap the Mullican tire? Because I thought if I walk out into that stage in my rematch and there's not enough Nottingham there and I'm singing on my own, it's not going to pick me up. It's going to have the opposite effect. But boy, they showed up. They showed up. And then after the fight, on my gram, there's a video there of everyone singing it after the fight, and they really did turn out for me. And I can't thank them enough. And I think that now is my identity. I have that walkout song, the Forest Mullican tire, and then it switches to my something inside so strong, and that's just what I do now.
I love it. Steve, are there plans as a club to watch the fight on Saturday after you guys beat Crystal Palace?
Yeah, I mean, schedule-wise, it's obviously not brilliant because we kick off at 5:30, so it's the later game on Saturday. But of course, we'll be done in time to see the game visually. I mean, one good thing about being away is that obviously, we only so many supporters can travel to the game, so that means that there's more supporters at home that can go and support Leigh. So there's a small blessing there. I guess we would all love to be together in the city or whatever it would have looked like. But as it works, I'm sure. Leigh gets brilliantly supported, like the football club, and I'm sure he won't be let down again on the weekend.
What is the prediction, Leigh?
I'm just gonna stick to what I practice with my team, my game plan. I know what I need to do, but if all goes to plan, I can see myself getting them out of there probably mid to late stoppage.
And then is it Joe Cordina?
Possibly, I've got a lot of options. I think I need to move up. I think it's getting hard to make this weight. I made it for a long, long time. So this is probably my last fight at featherweight, unless I get an offer I can't refuse, which would tie in with the City Ground. But if not, we'll move up and look at the options. I think when you vacate a belt, you become number one at the weight for that belt. So whoever's got the WBA at the time, we can have a look at that. There's Cordina, which is a great fight as well for a world title. So I don't really want to talk about it or think about it. My eyes are on Saturday night. Josh Warrington. It's been a long time coming, this fight, and I'm going to go out and show what I'm all about.
I love how the tables have turned. You posted a video, I think your friend was telling you, hey, you need to start getting a little more active out there and calling people out. You posted a video that no one engaged with, and now here you are, the king of the mountain, and he's coming after your belt. So a real lesson to just be patient in life, and good things will happen to good people. I referenced that video, Steve, in conclusion. And I'm putting you on the spot here a little bit, but any words of advice, any words of wisdom to the great Leigh Wood before Saturday?
We've done that privately. As I said, I just want him to continue to believe in himself, and we're all behind him. I know enough about boxing to know this is a great fight, and two great cities involved, and two great football clubs. Obviously, we're all in with Nottingham and Forest, but I know it's got the makings of a brilliant event, and we just really, really hope that Leigh gets the win he deserves again.
Tremendous stuff. Leigh, I wish you the very best. Good luck to you. Steve, I wish you and the club the very best. And on a selfish note, I just want to thank you and the club as well, because you guys have been very kind to me. But really, I'm a father of three. My kids and I didn't have much to bond over as far as sports, and I'm a big sports fan. And when we found the club and started watching every game here on NBC in America, I mean, when you guys beat Arsenal, May 20th, I remember I started crying because it gave me something to look forward to for next season that I can watch with my kids. I didn't want to lose that. And I know everyone has their other story, and I'm a new fan, but I've truly fallen in love with the club and everything you guys are about and represent. So you have a fan for life here, and I wish you guys nothing but the best. And thank you for being so kind to an outsider all the way here in the United States.
That's very kind of you. You're more than welcome.
Thank you. And hopefully we could go to the world famous City Ground one day, perhaps for the Leigh Wood title defense over there in the near future. Thank you to both of you. All the best this weekend. I can't thank you enough.
Cheers, guys.
There he is, Leigh Wood and Steve Cooper, the manager for Nottingham Forest. What a time that was. Wow. Thanks for watching. We appreciate it very much. Hey, if you like this video, give us the old thumbs up. Subscribe as well. You could get many more of these videos on the channel, so please do that. We would love you forever if you did so.